Hi there, I'm Carol.
I'm Alicia.
I'm Trisha.
And you are listening to the Lights Girl Talk podcast. Welcome in. This week we're talking about 5 questions to ask before posting to social media. Now, I think we all can say we've probably posted something that we could go, oh man, I wish I hadn't done that.
Post regret.
Post regret.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we've all done it. But I ran across this article in a magazine called Relevant Magazine, put it out. And so I want to give them total credit for that. But it got me to thinking about what questions or what can I ask myself before posting on social media. So we're going to take these one at a time, and we're going to talk about them as we go. Am I seeking approval? Well, that would just eliminate every post I ever make.
It would. Who's going to put something up that you don't want approval for? Because
Yes.
that's why we all go back to our phones. We're like, how many likes has it received? Has anyone said anything? What do they think?
It's so dangerous for me because I am a people pleaser, and I get my juice from stuff like that. And so for that very reason, I don't post very much on.
I have stopped posting
Facebook.
for that reason.
Yeah.
I still post. I mean, I'm big on social media. I love social media, but I don't post like I used to because I find that I just want to go back and see what people are going to say.
I know.
I got called out on this very thing just about 2 weeks ago. So
Really?
Yeah. There's a guy who I've been praying for. We've been friends for a long time, 20-some years. Lives in New York City. Not someone who would profess to believe in Jesus Christ at all, but we've been friends forever, and I've always prayed for him and prayed that God would open his eyes and he would have a relationship with him anyway. So I posted on my Facebook page something like, why do I do these things to myself? And then I posted a link to an obstacle course race that I had signed up for.
Yeah.
And I was trying to be kind of light and funny, but in actuality, I was also like, hey, check out what I'm about to do. So the question that I posted was, can you remind me why I do these things to myself? And he writes back, likes on Facebook? Question mark.
Ooh, ouch.
And I had to say, you know what? Yeah, that's a definite perk. That's definitely part of it. He called me out on it, and it is so true.
Wow, that's kind of harsh.
Well, I mean, but that's what he does. He just calls things the way he sees them, and I
know.
appreciate that. But
Well, a lot
you
of
know,
people on Facebook do that, which is another reason why I don't do some stuff on Facebook. Like, I never get political on Facebook. I don't comment on anyone's political things. I actually hide them.
Yeah.
If I see something that's uncomfortable, I hide it so I don't have to see it.
Yeah. Okay.
nothing good comes from that.
Well, we're going to talk. We'll get into a little bit more of that in just a minute.
Okay.
But the second one, first one is, am I seeking approval? Second one is, am I boasting?
Well, I think when are we not boasting? You post pictures of your kids when they did great at school or they won a championship, and that's all that is.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it, someone called me out on this one too. Yeah, I posted.
We
up
need
a
to
picture.
reevaluate your page,
I know.
Trisha.
This is maybe just for me today. So I posted a picture of myself, and then someone wrote, "When are you going to post a bad picture of yourself?"
Oh, yeah.
Which I
Who's
think
gonna
I
do
do
that?
a lot, but but it was a good point. It's like I'm always very conscious about what image I have on myself on my page.
You did
Facebook
post
page.
that picture when you came out of your
I was
procedure.
under anesthesia.
I thought
what
that
more do you
was-
want?
I thought that was a really
gown.
great, I thought that was really good. That was like, oh, wow, this is bold and funny, but it was the reality.
Yeah.
I liked that.
But it was a good reminder. Thank you. I appreciate that. But it has been a good reminder to me. This discussion is actually really hitting me. It's like, okay, I am pretty targeted about what I'm putting up on my Facebook
You know,
page.
I think this boasting one is good for us to remember as we look at other people's posts. When you start to feel bad or you start to feel sad because you're looking at everyone's vacation pictures or all the things that they're doing, that their kids are all amazing and you may be going through a hard time, you have to realize they're only posting the good stuff.
Oh, that's so true.
It is so true.
My goodness. Okay. All right. We're going to move on from that one. Ouch, Alicia. Okay. Number 3 is, am I discontent? And I think we could park here and, just stay here for like a week because for whatever reason, like you just mentioned, Facebook especially, I don't really use a whole lot of social media other than Facebook. I know Instagram's really big, but Facebook, I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, and so one's all I can handle. But Facebook for me, it breeds discontentment for me. It's like you just said, I see somebody else on vacation, I'm like, well, we hadn't been to the beach in 11 years. Or, we had a staycation this year and we don't want to post pictures of my living room because that's what we did.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, but Facebook, for whatever reason, and I love it because I love keeping up with people and seeing what's going on in people's lives, but also it is a big source of discontentment for me. Like just getting on it. Is anybody else like that?
A little bit. It depends. I do a lot of business groups and entrepreneurial groups and things like that on Facebook as much as I do the friend things.
Yeah.
Because the truth is, however many friends you have, there's only 20% of them that actually post and do something on Facebook.
True.
So you're only seeing a small percentage of your group. But even in these other groups I'm in, people post, I'm so successful and I have this great job where I only work 2 hours a day and and then it brings you down. You're like, well, I have a regular job and I work and I have kids
work hard
and
yeah.
How come I don't have that easy life? But again, it's only a small percentage of what I'm seeing.
You said something interesting that I never thought about, actually, turning this around a little bit. If you look at someone who someone you care about, and they're constantly posting things that are obviously looking for approval or looking to be more content in their lives, maybe that's an opportunity to reach out to them. Maybe it's a sign from them or a message from them saying, I need more than I'm getting.
I think there are some people, I know some people that will post, I don't want to say negative things, but it's always kind of, woe is me, my job, or I have this meeting, or this was so rough today. Like every post is like that. But I think they need someone to reach out and talk to them because that's their way of communicating. Or I have friends who work from home and they're isolated. And Facebook is their only means of communicating with kind of, quote, real people.
Yeah.
And so they post all kinds of things on there and they'd probably love to have a conversation.
That's it. And Facebook doesn't give you back what it is that you're looking for. Because no matter how many likes, hey, I got 68 likes. Well, it's not 70. Then if you get 70, well, I need 80. It doesn't give you that face-to-face interaction. So maybe, we pick up the phone and actually call that person. That's a pretty good reminder.
That is a great reminder. Number 4, is this a moment to protect?
Ooh.
What do you think that means?
Well, this is the way I took it. A couple of years ago, and this has nothing to do with social media, but a couple of years ago, I was going through a season in my life that I was sharing everything.
Yes.
And
therapeutically, kind of.
Yeah, therapeutically, I guess. But I got to this point where I felt like, and didn't hear God's audible voice, but in my heart, I felt like I heard him say, "This is just between you and me." Like, I don't want you to share in this right now. Not because it was anything freaky or none of that, but it was just like, this is just me and you right now. And I think of that in terms of a relationship. Like my closest friends, there are things that I only share with them. But on Facebook, there are people who share everything. And you're like, oh man, I wish you hadn't have told me that. I can't unsee that, But I think there are some moments, and we've lost permission for anything to be private. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. And I think too with kids. There's all these different levels and seasons with your kids and what you put on social media. And it's easy when they're a baby to put something on Facebook. Oh, here's a cute baby picture. But as the kids get older and older, and then, people who have teens or older children that can see their Facebook feed, how much do you share? And should you protect some of those moments? And that's just something for your family. You don't need to share it with everybody that you know.
Yeah.
Because when they get older, they can look back on your Facebook feed and see everything. Like, can you imagine seeing what, like, our parents, like, if they would have had Facebook, what they would have said about us?
Why did we have a third job?
Or second in my case.
Yeah. And we do have that record now. That, I mean, some people look at it as a positive because there are times that I'd like to go back. I mean, I just lost my father in June, and there are times I'd like to go back now and think about.
You could see a great memory. Or like when it pops up those memories.
Oh, those are special.
They're hard, though. I'll tell you.
Oh, it kills you.
Yeah.
When your kids are real little and they pop up that memory, it's like, oh.
But wouldn't you
That
have
was
loved to
just
know?
yesterday.
Wouldn't you have loved to know like what your mom was thinking like the 17th time you had stitches? Like, wouldn't you love to?
No, I don't want to know that. I'm glad we don't have to know that. Now that we're parents, like
Okay.
I don't want to know all that my parents went through.
That's
Okay.
an interesting question. Do
Yeah.
they want to know or do they not want to know? I can see both sides of that.
Well, I have been a big proponent of this. I said if there had been YouTube or Facebook
Oh, yeah.
when I had been in high school,
Oh, yeah.
I would have never gotten a job or graduated.
Oh,
But when you're around your parents now and you tell them things, they're like, I never knew that, and I'm
Yeah.
glad I never knew that. Maybe it goes both ways there, So I think there is some. We have some privacy issues. There are some things that need to be kept private. And
It's a great question to ask, like
Yeah.
you said. I mean, because it's not a yes or no
Right.
blanket, but it is a great question before you post. Is
Yeah.
this a moment to be protected?
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. Okay, and the
good one.
last one is there again. I think we could spend all day here. Is it
Oh, yeah.
kind? It goes back to what you were talking about a few minutes ago. This has been a big one for me, and here's my thing. I, as believers, as a Christian myself, I can't expect people who don't believe to issue the same response that I would issue. So let's take that off the table. Like you said, your friend's not a professing Christian, doesn't
Right,
believe.
right.
And so I want to take those people out of the picture, and I want to just look at, as you and I, believers.
Yeah.
I think we really need to step back and really examine this one, because I've seen believers who both are friends of mine engage in arguments about things that are not going to matter a hill of beans
Yes.
even 6 months from now, and break relationship because of something like that. And the exchange that they
Yes.
have on Facebook is so unkind and so
things that you probably wouldn't say to the person
No,
face to face.
never.
no.
But for some reason, people feel like they have permission, and then everyone else sees it. So not
Yeah.
only is it a private conversation, it's not a conversation, first of all,
Right.
usually if it's unkind,
Yeah.
but everybody else can read it. And the second that Facebook started sharing, when we post on someone else's post, and then you get an alert, oh, Carol posted on Trisha. Oh, let me go see what Carol said. And then you find it's some kind of debate. And it's like, whoa, it's and people that aren't even connected to you.
Yeah. So I think probably a part B to is it kind is, think about the ripple effect.
Yes. It can be huge.
And I think that is so, just like you were talking about your friend and, living your life in front of them and him calling you out. But at the same time, thinking about posts that we make that could be misunderstood in that way, and really staying away from those kinds of things. I think I have a friend who is really wise on social media stuff. Like he'll say stuff and I'll be like, I wish I'd have thought of that. And he said he has a lot of friends who aren't believers, and he said a lot of times if they comment, like if I post an article or something, they will comment in a way to try to start an argument.
Bait.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
And he said, so what I do is that I email them privately and say, I'd love to talk with you about this. When do you have some free time? And really engage in a conversation. And he's had several great opportunities to share his faith through that exchange. Whereas if he had just gone right back at them,
Right.
Yeah.
there'd been no opportunity for that.
And then I think it's unhealthy when those threads start, because just like you go back to see how many people liked your breakfast post, you go back to see, well, what did they say? What did they say? And you're all day long, it goes on and festers, and I think creates this feeling inside you, not just for the moment of the conversation, but it extends that beyond. If you were, again, face to face, that would have been maybe a short conversation. But because it's through social media, you go back when you have time. And so it could take days for a full conversation to get complete. And there's all that animosity and anger potentially in there.
Sticks in your heart.
Yeah, and you can't determine tone by the
Right.
written word.
Right.
I've always heard that in leadership when you write an email.
Oh, yeah.
Just understand that there's no tone in email. So somebody else is seeing it through their filter of, oh, I've had a rotten day and a flat tire and the dog got out and all that stuff. they're reading it through that filter, and you don't have any way of knowing.
I've known people that I've worked with that if there's a controversial topic that we need to work through or something, instead of using social media or even these newer kind of chat things, some offices you can chat with each other through the office. If it's a topic that may need to be discussed, this person always picked up the phone.
Yeah.
And I remember texting one day something. He goes, "No, we need to talk." Well, and he picked up the phone and called me. And it was such a great lesson of, yes, we needed to have that face. We weren't actually face to face, but we had it verbally on the phone and just worked through it very easily.
Yeah.
And hear that tone. Another piece of this, I think, are memes, the little funny cartoon things, right? Somebody will put something up, and I don't know how they mean it exactly, but it can be taken wrong, and it's maybe insulting to one group of people.
Oh, yeah.
And then it just starts there and goes and goes and goes. And I remember something that someone posted during our last big political time frame. They said Jesus was never sarcastic. And so what a good reminder that when we think we're being funny or we're thinking we're being light or clever, if it's hurtful, if it's sarcastic, can it be taken the wrong way? That's a good reminder. So I appreciate that question. Is it kind?
Yeah. So I tell you what, I think we could spend a couple of episodes talking about this, but we'll just go through them real quick once again. 5 questions to ask yourself before posting to social media. Am I seeking approval? Am I boasting? Is it a moment to protect? Is it kind? And am I discontent? Those were the 5 questions. So also just once again, got that from Relevant Magazine, posted the article. First of all, got me to thinking about it, but I think it was a great discussion here. And we would love to hear your thoughts. You're welcome to email us. You can use my email address, carol@thelightfm.org. And thank you so much for being a part of our Girl Talk podcast. We'll see you next time.